It was a different time, the 1980s, and Cathal Kelly's new book, Boy Wonders, a memoir, takes us back there with recollections of his youth in the Toronto of another era. By day, he's a national sports columnist for the Globe and Mail. In this book, as he often is in his columns, he's a writer with a wide perspective and a watchful eye. And Cathal Kelly joins us now for more. Hi.
Hi, wow, that was really nice.
Well, you actually said that we met a long time ago, back in the day when like 3 people covered the Raptors.
That's right, you, me, and some other guy.
And some other guy, and now I can't even get tickets. But this book is great.
Oh, thank you so much.
It packs a punch.
Thank you.
When writing a book like this, how reliable is memory?
I don't think it's that reliable at all. I had to go back, and my mother is my greatest source on this, so I had to go back and check with her certain things. I think I got most of it right, but I think all of us, if we were to go back and fact check our memories, especially when we were kids, have changed a little bit over time, and we're probably more the hero of events than we think we are. I tried my best, to be honest, but I also wanted it to be a good story.
Right.
So.
But I thought it was really interesting because I read a lot of books, and most times, you're right, we do remember ourselves maybe in a better way than we actually were. But you're actually really self-critical.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you're the focus of your stories. Like,
right.
Everything revolves around you. I think that's where the memory changes, where perhaps you're a really peripheral figure in something that happens, but suddenly you're right in the middle of it. Yeah, but I don't think you can write a book like this about yourself if the joke isn't on you. I think if you try it any other way, it's tedious and impossible to read.
And you also say that you have a lizard brain. You said that a couple of times. But I wanted you, if you could read something from the book.
Sure.
Before we get into the conversation. And this is 1980, you're 7, and you're waiting in line to get into the theater to see The Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, the first part of this memory is muddy. I recall the sense of pant-wetting anticipation. I remember seeing the poster pinned up alongside the doorway, the first tangible evidence that this was really happening. Mostly, I was disoriented by expectation. I felt sure this experience was going to change my life for the better. I was going to get some answers to important questions. Then the van appeared. I remember the van quite specifically. It was brown, an old American beater, windowless with a sliding panel on the right side. It was moving very slowly down the lineup eastward along Bloor Street. The panel was open and someone, a man, maybe a teenager, was leaning out the door dangerously. He was yelling something at everyone.
What was he yelling?
Darth Vader is Luke's father. Darth Vader is Luke's father.
Oh, and you were in line waiting to see the movie, and that's basically
And that's the whole point of the whole thing. Like, that's basically Star Wars, is that Darth Vader is Luke's father. So it was given away before the movie. I tried to frame this as sort of I would have been then 7 years old, the first great disillusionment of my life. And it is so cinematic that your producer, Meredith, actually in her pre-interview here, the first thing she asked me was, did that actually happen? And yes, it did, 100%. I know it sounds too perfect to be true, but it did actually happen.
Well, you say that this moment turned you into a cynic at 7 years old. In what ways?
Well, that things are never going to turn out exactly as you'd hoped. And in the sense that I wanted that story completed in my own arc. It's back to this idea of your own perspective on your life, that you are the hero, everything revolves around you, and that you're starting to learn that life is going to spend a lot of time hitting you in the head, and it's never going to turn out exactly how you hoped, and probably going to disappoint you enormously, and you have to acclimate yourself to the idea that it's the disappointment that defines the story.
Right. And in the book, too, you do spend a lot of time thinking about what you're going to be like when you grow up.
Yeah, what a disappointment. That's a key disappointment.
But now, you're kind of a big deal, right?
Well, no, that's not.
You are kind of a big deal. No. Looking back, how do you think that 7-year-old self would receive you as an adult?
I'd probably be sickened by me. I think the secret to most success in life, and I think this is very contrary to what we teach children now, is that the less you expect, the more you're probably going to get. I think now people are driven crazy by expectation. They talk about anxiety that young people feel, and I think that's because the expectations are so high. And I think it's deeply unfortunate. I didn't have those sorts of expectations. My expectations were that maybe I would have a job, and maybe I would have a home, and maybe I wouldn't live in a cardboard box. And I remember I used to always have this goal in my mind, and of course this is years ago, that someday I would make $30,000. Because if I made I don't know where I came up with this number. If I made $30,000, everything would be fine. And the crazy thing is, now that I make more than $30,000, I was probably right. $30,000 is probably the limit of your happiness. You're not going to get much more after that. So no, I don't think my 7-year-old self...
But can you say that because you're making more than 30?
Well, that's a really good question. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. I say this from a position of privilege. I go, oh, it's great to make $30,000. Yeah. But I mean, I can remember in my 20s filing my taxes one year and I'd made $11,000. And somehow I lived, and I don't think that my life is that much different than it was then. I just drive a car and eat better.
And you eat better. In the book too, as you're growing up, some of the things that you did as a young person, I have 2 kids, and I was like, you were on the subway at that age.
I know.
You were walking to the corner store at 7.
I know.
But you grew up in Toronto, and Toronto is kind of like another character in the book.
Yeah.
What do you love the best about the city?
This city, I don't think I can, because we get into a bad game in Toronto where we'd like to compare ourselves to other cities. Toronto is never going to be London. Toronto is never going to be Istanbul. Toronto is never going to have that history, it's never going to be that capacious. But what Toronto has for me is that's where I was born. And Toronto means something to me because of that. I've grown up with the city. I came to this studio today. I hadn't been to this part of town, I don't know, in a couple of years. I live in the West End. There was no real reason to come up here. I came up on the subway. And how much it has changed.
How's it changed? Because you grew up in the 80s and 90s and now...
It's just mind-boggling. Now it's like, to me, it's like, I know it wouldn't seem like this to anybody. It's like Blade Runner up here now. It's just all glass and steel. All we need is the pollution. Yeah. I just couldn't get over how much this city is constantly renewing itself. I don't think in a way that more settled cities, greater metropolises do. Mm-hmm. To me, that's the key beauty of Toronto, is it's still changeable. And it's changing in front of us. It's changing in a series of months. We like to bemoan the fact that this city isn't going places. I prefer to see it as a place that is still quite, it's like Lego. Like you could move it around and we still don't know what it's going to be.
As much as you love the city though, because in the book, it's a series of stories about something that was important to you as a child, I'm assuming. But at the end of the book, you have a series of lists and best cities in the world. Toronto's not on the list.
Well, I thought that went without saying, And of course, if somebody says, where would you love to vacation? Well, it's not going to be Toronto. I go to these places every day. But yeah, you're right. That is terrible. I'm trying to talk my way out of it. That's terrible oversight on my part.
But the way you write is so, it's kind of mesmerizing. You write something that, you write about Star Wars, and then you kind of sneak in something that kind of punches you in the stomach. You write about your dad and the relationship that you had. Your dad died when you were 19. Looking back, can you give us a sense of what your relationship was like with your dad when he was alive?
Very poor. I think like a lot of people. He was an alcoholic, he was mentally ill, but still incredibly formative, in the sense that I didn't live with him, but I now find myself doing many things. It's strange, you have one parent who's my mother, who you try to emulate, and then you have another parent, it's almost quite useful, that is an instructive example of what not to do. And you think to yourself, that's not how I want to end up. It's not even so much not how I want to do things, I just don't want to end up there. And then you work back in your child of mind. What were the steps that got him there? Well, I won't do that, and I won't do that. But
I think that takes a lot of, I don't know if a lot of people can do that. Because at what age did you realize that your father might not have been like all fathers?
Well, I don't know, I'm 46, 42. I don't think I recognized in the moment, I know I didn't. I didn't recognize in the moment that he was any different from anybody else. I didn't recognize that it was bizarre. It's just your reality, right? It's not something you would discuss with your 8-year-old friends, that your father is just constantly drunk and completely erratic. But
he hit you too.
Well, really, not too much. I worry why I'm being this way about this is I worry that this becomes a story. Many people have far more difficult stories than mine. And I don't want to compare myself to them. It's not that. I didn't live in terror.
But you lived in fear.
I think a bit of manageable fear is probably a good thing.
In what way?
I think it hardens you up. I think that there's a certain amount of fear that should always be in your life. And that fear drives you. Mike Tyson had a line, maybe he's not the greatest example in this thing, but he said, fear is like fire, and if you use it right, it can heat your house. And if you let it overcome you, it'll burn you alive.
And you learned that lesson as a child?
I think so. When I heard that line, it's weird. I thought, that makes sense to me.
You tell a story about a family reunion that took place in North Bay,
Yeah.
and your dad had you for that weekend. It was his family. What happened that weekend?
Oh, it got a bit back in Alien. There was a lot of howling at the moon, and it was a family that liked to drink. That was the end of my relationship with my father in most senses, because I got terrifically ill. I had asthma, and I was sent to the doctor, and it's a long story, but they
You
gave
had
me
an asthma attack.
Yeah, I had an asthma attack.
But he didn't believe you.
He didn't believe me.
It took him maybe 2 days to take you to the hospital.
Yeah, it took him
He
a
drops
couple-
you off at the hospital.
Yes, you're right.
He leaves you at the hospital.
Yes.
And you're alone with no one. but
Yes,
the
I'm
staff.
alone. Yeah, he just kind of dropped me in the ER and then went back to the party. And because there was no one there, I suppose they asked him if I was allergic to anything. And he said no, not knowing. And they gave me a medicine I was allergic to. So it got quite tenuous for a moment, but it turned out okay.
Because you ended up having a TV.
That's right, it was the Blue Jays'
Yeah.
first playoff run. I mean, that turned from a very bad memory into kind of a good one.
Why was it a good one?
I think that's the first experience of being tunnel visioned into sports. I'm a sports writer now, and that is difficult. Most people have a lot going on in their lives. It's very difficult to get tunnel visioned into sports, where that's all that matters. And you're trying to connect with people who feel that way. I have had that experience where I was winning, or like it was life and death for me, it felt in that moment, whether that team won. And of course, because they're from Toronto, they lost.
You know? But I also, I know there was a while since you wrote the book, and I just read it yesterday. There was a line where you said that you actually liked being at the hospital because you enjoy being alone.
Yeah, I am. I have, strong mole-like tendencies. I do enjoy my alone time. So yeah, I did like being cloistered in that way. I would have made a sort of okay monk, I think, sort of. But
looking back with everything that happened, do you think that you understand your father better now than when you were a kid? And I only ask you that because I as an adult now, I think I understand my parents were people before they were parents.
Yeah, that's very true. I don't understand him because he defied understanding. Like he was not a logical person. He did things that made absolutely no sense. Like he once bought a car that the starter broke in the car, and his solution to the fact that the starter had broken was he never turned the car off. So it's sad. It was an old VW Rabbit that he could keep, didn't take much gas. It ran 24
And he left it in the garage like that?
24 hours a day. 24 hours a day at the garage. And then he would open the garage door, and it would be like a nuclear bomb had gone off. There was so much smoke would come out. And then he'd drive it around and then leave it in the garage. Didn't make rational decisions.
But your mom was, she was very stoic, yes?
Yes, quite the opposite.
Yeah.
My mother was never changed. Like my mother was you always knew what you were going to get. And she was the rock.
And she also seemed to always have your back, even when you did something wrong.
Yeah.
You once got arrested. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I was arrested for something extremely stupid, which was popular in the mid-'80s, which was stealing hood ornaments. And we were caught doing it. It was beyond, it defied, again, well, maybe the irrational part of my DNA. And so I was taken to...
Or being a teenager.
Or being a teenager. I was taken to a station house at about 2 a.m. And my poor mother had to come get me. And it occurred to me after that we didn't have a car. She would have walked, and it was cold, and it would have been an awfully long walk. And once she got there, like she was enraged at me. But the cops said, as they would at the time, they push you around a little bit, slap you around a little bit, nothing too dangerous. But I lipped off at the end like a buffoon once my mommy was there. And she backed me up in that moment. And then I felt quite full of myself. And then she said, well, if you ever get arrested again, don't call me. Like there was no one else to call. And she meant it. And that was another good lesson.
Do you think, because I'm sure other kids in that situation might have gone to the side where they would continue doing that. As you mentioned in the book, some of your friends did do that. Why did you stop?
I was afraid of my mother. It sounds so cliched for an Irish guy to say this, but I really was afraid of my mother. I was not afraid of punishment. I was afraid of losing her respect. And I felt that my hold on her respect was tenuous. Like I had to earn it and re-earn it. And had I lost that was the foundation stone of my life. I couldn't imagine doing that.
And she read the book?
She read the book.
And she said?
I think it was, it's good.
It's good. So, you've done well.
That's high praise. That's high praise in my household.
In the book you write, you started reading at a very young age.
Yeah, I suppose.
What was it about reading that you connected with?
I was living another life. It's the same reason I read today. It's time travel. It's not just travel. It's better than an airplane. It's H.G. Wells. You can move backwards and forwards. In history, you are not just visiting people from another time and place, but the brightest minds of another time and place, the people who saw the most. It's art in its purest form to me. It's something different to everyone. I could quit my job and, if I could live, and devote myself to doing nothing but. And I think it would be a life well lived.
But you also mentioned too that reading was the one, because your mom didn't like you taking naps in the day.
Yeah,
So it was a way for you to be in your room without getting yelled
That's
at.
true. So no, I still can't nap. I have this terrible affliction where if I think of my mother coming through the door, like even I'll be in a Marriott in San Francisco, and I'll imagine my mother coming through the door and catching me asleep.
It's like daytime, you're not napping. But George Orwell was a big influence on you.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, first of all, maybe the greatest writer of essays in the English language ever. But also saw things more clearly. I have a very cynical bent of mind, and Orwell was the great cynic, and also, like someone like, I think like true towering figures in history, the other one that just leaps in my mind right now is Malcolm X, someone who could plot a course, then find different information. Their entire lives are based on that line of philosophy. Get different information and say, well, I'm going to go in the complete opposite direction now. I've changed my mind. To me, that's the mark of a truly towering intellect. And Orwell had that ability. I mean, was a communist and then decided, I don't like communism anymore. I've seen it up close, it's terrible. And then go the other way. And he had this kind of penetrating way, the simplicity of writing that could get through to kids. And I talk in the book a lot about Animal Farm and what that meant to me in that book.
You also you write about trying to discover what kind of music that you like. You go through a Metallica phase because of a girlfriend.
Well, no, but just because Metallica.
But it's from the girlfriend.
Remains incredible.
But you also write about the Smiths
yeah.
from Britain. Why do you think that was the band you loved the most in your teen years?
Because I was a pretty morose kid, and they're the most morose band of all time. And something about Morrissey's lyrics, like Johnny Marr's great and all, but something about Morrissey's lyrics, I was looking for a job and then I found a job, and heaven knows I'm miserable now. Everybody can connect to that idea. And it made me feel that however miserable things got, that itself, misery can be a source of sort of an odd sort of pleasure. That you can wallow it in a way that doesn't destroy your life, but instead enriches it. And he had that, I don't know what it was, 14, 15 years old, he just connected to me, those ideas. And the music is great, but I think we connect to great bands, the bands that mean the most to us, either because they connect us to an event in our lives, something we did, or it's the lyrics. It's not really the music, they're saying something to us that penetrates and seems at the time incredibly wise. And I don't know if I don't listen to it the same way anymore, but I still go back and listen to it, and it makes me 15.
Going through the process of writing this book, I'm thinking you probably had to maybe think about a lot of things you might have thought about for a couple of decades. You might have gotten nostalgic, or maybe not. What was the process like for you writing a book like this?
It was actually oddly fun. Friends asked me, is this going to be painful for you? And no, not in the least. Actually, it was, I found it, I don't want this to sound more than it is, I found it very cathartic. I found it quite enjoyable. I look back on almost all of that stuff, even the bad stuff, with nostalgia. Because one of the driving points of the book is that you get this one chance until you're about 20 years old to discover things, to truly, truly discover things for the first time. And your eyes are so soft in that moment. You're just accepting of so much information. And everything seems incredible, new. And then you get to a point, 20, 25, where that just stops. And you're doing things, you get better at things, but you're doing things for the second, third, 100th, 1000th time, and you can never experience that again. I would love to, but you can't. So going back through the book, you reminded yourself of how deep you could get into the dumbest things. And just that idea of laying against a stereo with the headphones on, listening to the Smiths for hours. You will never do that again. You're a busy person. You're never going to do that again. Yeah. And there's a certain sadness to that, but it's also wonderful.
What do we get from the sadness, though?
The sadness is that was a different life. Like we think of it, I think, we think of our 80 years or 90 years as one life. But, there's a theory in philosophy that we aren't just one person, we're dozens of different people, just kind of interconnectedly. But your 25-year-old self would not recognize your 55-year-old self. You've changed. That self, I think, that childhood self is our purest self, because that's the most malleable self. The person we become afterwards is the person we have to become because of our environment. And that's the sadness, that maybe I could have been a better person.
But you do say that the thing that you did get right was the hair, because you...
Yeah, I enjoyed my hair at the time.
You used to have a lot of hair, a lot of
Yeah, it's hard to believe,
hairstyles.
Isn't it? Yeah. I had a great deal of hair, and I abused it terribly. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure it's why I'm bald. I went bald at 29, which is, but that hair lived its own life as well. Like I had mohawks, which, as anybody who's had a mohawk, it's a very difficult hairstyle to have. It just doesn't want to stay up. It breaks at the bottom, essentially. You just can't build that foundation. But I had the Robert Smith hair. I don't know if people are familiar, from The Cure, which is basically a huge tangle. And man, I did things to that hair.
With the gel and the egg whites.
French formula, hard to hold. That was really, I think it's probably been banned now. It's probably got DDTs in it. But it was unbelievable. It was like liquid glue.
It did its job. We only have a few seconds left, but you dedicate the book to Margaret. Who was Margaret?
Margaret is my mother. And in my only sad postmodern flourish, that's the only time you see her name in the book.
Well, Cathal, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
It's such a fun read. I'm thinking a lot about things that you wrote in here, and I appreciate you writing about it, even the painful parts.
Oh, thank you so much.
That was Cathal Kelly, Boy Wonders, a memoir. Thank you.
Cheers.
The Agenda with Steve Paikin is brought to you by the Chartered Professional Accountants of Ontario, helping businesses stay on the right side of change with strategic thinking, insightful decisions, and business leadership. Are you on the right side of change? Ask an Ontario CPA.